project, I decided to make a computer program that, given a text document with names, phone numbers, and appointment dates of clients, could send a text message reminder on the day of an appointment. The idea behind it was that a business that schedules appointments loses money if they have someone not show up, so it's in their best interest to send a reminder. So I thought that by automating that, it could make it easier to do than sending everything out manually. The idea came from my friend's roommate who has a cousin who owns a barbershop. He said that he usually gets a reminder 2 hours before to get his haircut, but it was only 1 hour before, and he almost missed his haircut this time. So that made me think that they were doing it by hand, which I just got the idea. Maybe I could figure out how to do it with the computer. Really did help for the project. I actually had more sources than I was required to because I ran into a lot of things that I actually needed to research. I'm not sure if I cited all of them. Some of it was just because I needed it in order to complete the code part of the project. I hit a lot of walls. It happens a lot with coding. It's just you hit a problem that you really don't know the solution to, and you go to the internet because hopefully someone there has the solution to it. So that was what I spent a lot of my time doing and where a lot of my research came from, and I found a lot of great articles. And I learned more from them than just the answer to my question. I learned, like, if I was just looking up one problem, I'd learn that, and possibly another problem that was about to arise, or a helpful time-saving thing that will just help me in the future with code. So the research was really a beneficial part of my project. So next I'm going to cut into me making the project, and the project being made took hours and hours and was make part, delete it, and redo. So I'm just going to screen share and record me making the other thing again and explaining how it works, making a working version. Okay, so first thing I need to do is I need to make the file that we're going to be doing. I'm going to call it sendtext and .py for Python. Okay, so first, gotta import all the modules that we're going to need for this. So for this, we're going to need to import Twilio, import twilio.rest. These are the modules that we're going to use to send texts, import time, and import date time. Those two we use to keep time. So then we need our account SID and auth token, but I'm going to cut it real quick so you guys don't have to watch me type that in. Now that we have those in there, that's what we need to use the texting module. We got to get the data from a file. We're going to make a function called getData, and then we're going to file equals open. We know the file is going to name phonebook.txt. That's the next thing we're going to do. Well, after we finish this file, we're going to make a phonebook.txt. That's supposed to be indented. It'll need to be indented the same or it'll crash. So we're going to read a line from the file. We're going to strip it because each file, each line has a new line character at the end to get rid of it. It's a common thing. Find that strip. Names. These lists are going to store the list of all the names of the people in the file. This list will store the list of all the numbers, and this list will store all the dates. The idea behind this is because each list will be the same length because each one has a name, number, and a date. We can go at each spot, like the first position of the list, and we'll have the name, number, and date. So while line is not blank, aka till the end of the data file, I'm just going to do this for each line in the data file is basically what it's doing. We're going to call name, num, and date line.split at the comma. So we need to remember that when we make the phonebook.txt, put commas between those things so that the program works correctly. Then we're going to append, which means add to the list, the name, add to the name list. So we're adding to the name list the name on the line. And then we're going to add to the nums number. So the list of numbers, we add the number. And then last, we're going to add the list of dates. We're going to add the date. So basically on each line, it's split in the commas and the name, number, and the date. And it adds to each of the three lists. And then you need to read a new line. Just read into the next line in the file. And as long as it is not a blank line or non-existent, aka with the two quotations we're checking for, it will keep reading new lines till the end. And You always got a string. Okay, so the next function we need is called find appointments today. So basically the idea is once you have all the appointments for like a month or say of the list, you need to find the ones that are on that day. Appointments today. So we're storing all the appointments that are today. And we're actually going to store the indexes. As I was talking about earlier, if you want the position, you can have the name, number, and date. So we're just going to store positions. So this we're going to start using the time module. We're going to get, the date time module. I don't know why you have to type it twice, but you do. And this is how you get the month. Sorry for my started real quick reading off this. So that is how you get the month on. So that will give you the month in an integer. So this is currently March, so it would be 3. As like tomorrow, well not tomorrow, the month would change, the day would change, but next month it would be a 4. So you get the month in there to get the day in a very similar fashion. And then the %d. So the M is for month and the D is for day. So once we have both of those, we are going to go through all of them. For I and range length, basically what this does is the length of dates is how many dates, like the length of all the lists. And it goes through each one, and you choose to take, when it says date equals dates I, that's dates at the index. So it's going to take the date, so if you have a list with 5 dates in it, it's going to go through each one of them and select it. That's basically what that's doing. And then it's going to get the month and the day out of it. So if you remember how, well, not if you remember how, you'll see later, when we create the phonebooks.txt, the date will be stored with a colon between the two of them. So we need to split the two different parts, the month and the day. So the way we do that is, one second, date.split. We split it at the colon, so that will give us the app month and the app day. And then we need to turn that into an integer because it's going to be in a string format. We're going to do some math with it in a little bit. So we just turn it into a signature. Oops, see a little typo right there. App month equals int of app month. We're going to do the same for the day. App day equals int day. Okay, so then we're going to check if app month equals month and app day, typo there, and app day equals day. So basically, day and month are the current day and current month, and the app day and app month are the day or the month and day of the appointment. So if the month and day that's currently is and the month and day of the appointment match, that is when you want to send a reminder. So you want to add them to the appointments today list. So if you remember from earlier, it's appointments today dot append, and we're just going to append I, because as you go through, I keeps track of where you are in the list. So we're going to append the index, and then this function needs to return appointments. That means it gives us all the appointments for today. Okay. So the next function that we're going to need is going to be the send reminder function. So I'm going to define it right here, define send reminder. And it's going to take 4 parameters. I think I may have made a mistake. Actually, probably definitely made some mistakes in this. The way it usually works. Yeah, find apps today actually takes a parameter as well. Sorry about that. A parameter is something that is passed to the function, like it can use it. So it uses all the list of dates to find the date for each one. Okay, so this one needs to be passed 4 parameters. That's the index, basically the position on the list. It's also passed the 3 lists that names, nums, dates. So it has all of the information. So once it does that, we're going to say the name is equal to the a string format because we need a string right now. Names of index. So basically, at the position we have, at the position index in every list, it's going to be the name, number, and date for the same person because those lists are equal length, as I said earlier. So name is the string of names of index, and num is the string of nums of the index. The number is the number. And then, so we're going to make the reminder message. The reminder message, you can add strings together in Python. So it's reminder plus name. That's why we have in the strings. We can add them. Strings can be added. So that's reminder name, whatever the name for the data file is. Give them a little dash right there, just makes it more readable. And you need to put a space. You need to remember to put a space before you start typing when you're adding strings. But you have an appointment today. So that's going to be the message that each user is going to get. We could add other things. We could put their phone number in there, or we could put the time of their appointment and stuff, but I just made this very basic for now. Then the part we need to do is use the Twilio module to send the text message. So this is how you import the Twilio from their documentation page. Twilio.rest.twilio REST client, and then you got to give it 2 parameters. So this is where in my research says the RESTful API. This is accessing a RESTful API. You get the information stored in this client. Then we're going to create a message. And the way you do it is client.messages.create. And the body of the message is going to be equal to the variable reminder. So it's a string. The reminder message. Oh, you need a comma right there. 2, it's going to be to number, whatever the number is at that position for that person. And from has a that is supposed to be there actually. And this is the number that you have registered through your Twilio account. I registered a Massachusetts number. It's 1-339-230-0650. So after you do that, to close. Sorry about that. I can only record 10 minutes. I'll need to restart a new video. So try up there means try and accept means basically if there's an error, don't crash the program. What it's doing is it's going to accept Twilio REST exception, which is what they call Twilio having an error as E, and you're going to print out E. So if there's an error, just print it instead of crashing the entire program. Last thing we need is just the main function, which puts it all together. Takes no parameters. Names, nums, and dates equals get data. So get data, the function returns 3 list names, nums, and dates. So it's going to return that. Apps equals find apps today. So that's appointments today. And it takes the list of dates and finds the appointments today. And then it's going to go through each one for I in range length of apps, basically for the length for however many appointments there are today. For each one, you want to index equals the list of each. Basically, this says take each position in the appointments list and it gets the index numbers. So we need the numbers know all 3 of the values. And then the index equals into index because it was actually a string before, and we don't want that to be a string because that will not work. It needs to be an integer. And then last thing we do is send reminder. So we call our send reminder function with the index we have, names, nums, and dates list. So that's just the Python. This makes the function run when we run the file. This is just part of Python. I didn't write this myself. Alright, so I expect some errors, but we'll go back to that. We have another thing to make. So that's sendtext.py. So now we're in nano phonebook dot text. And I already have a phone book in here, but we're going to make a new one. So basically, each line is read individually. So we give a name, you could say Joanne. We separate them by commas. I'm going to put in, for the Twilio, you have to pay to have multiple numbers. So I only have my number registered on it. So I'm just going to use that one for every client so you can see that it's actually working. And the month is going to be in, the format of the month colon the day. The reason I just hesitated is because I'm doing this really late, and it is 11:50, but it's 11:15, I'm sorry, but this is on GMT time zone, which is 4 hours ahead of us, so it thinks that it's actually 29 minutes, 28. So I'm going to schedule this appointment for today in GMT. So that appointment, when it goes through the list, should be found as one that's today. I'm going to give Jack an appointment, but he doesn't have his appointment until next month. And then Jill can also have an appointment today. So it should find the three of them and send texts. I made a little mistake right there. If you see, I put a column. So basically these two should have, the first and last should have indexes the same, so they should be sent text messages. So I'm going to click Control-X, save this. Now I'm going to try and run send text, but the way you do that is Python. But I expect there to be errors. There usually are when you type out a program, and I'll go and fix them. HTTP request was. Okay, so, alright. So I entered my phone number incorrectly, but this is what the Twilio try and accept actually does, as you can see. That's their error that they call. I'll be right back after I fix that. It was just next to one in phonebook.txt. Oops, I'll just delete the recording. So let's delete that, and then we'll run it again. So send text.py. So I'm checking my phone right now. I just got a text message that says, "Reminder Joan, you have an appointment today." And "Reminder Jill, you have an appointment today." I did not get one for the third. I forget the name. So Joan and Jill, but Jack did not. So that is the application working. Thank you. I learned and reinforced a lot about myself from this project. I always knew that I like computers and I enjoyed just messing around with them and creating things. But this was kind of reaffirmed by this project. I did enjoy this as well. But I also learned about myself that I have a lot of persistence too. I had a lot of problems on this. This project took me a lot longer than what I see a lot of other makers in the class probably did. At times I found myself wondering why I didn't make something. So I have a lot of persistence to get through that. There were hours I was stuck on one single error, and I had to just keep fighting through it. If I was to redo it, I don't know if I'd do anything differently. I might try to use a database to store customer information and maybe make appointments by time instead, so that you could have like appointment 2 and then check at only 2. But that would probably require more investment and time. So I would honestly just build upon what I have here. There's other things you could do with it. You could make more personalized messages. There's plenty of room to expand. I would just continue expanding. And the last question is, do I consider myself a maker? I am going to school for a computer science degree, hoping to get a job as a software engineer, where the job is to make software. So I would consider myself a maker. I would hope I am, at least. I would hope others consider myself that way. So this was a really fun project for me, as, like I said, I was able to make things on the computer, which is something I enjoy to do, and I got credit for it. So, hopefully, I haven't gotten that far yet. Thank you very much.